Assalamu alaikum. Masa al khair al Jamia, and I would like to welcome you all to our today's presentation, which is going to be about technological and assistive tools for writing. So today's presentation is going to be presented by Mr. Ahmad Jan. So thank you, Brother Ahmed, for taking the lead. And the floor is yours. You may start now.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Basim. Assalamu alaikum and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to start the presentation with the token of thanks to the Writing Center for giving me this opportunity to conduct this workshop. And I would also like to thank the participants for joining in. Um, so the title of the session as shared by the Writing Center was Technological Tools for Writing. And what you can see on the screen is Assistive Tools for Writing. And this is what I would be referring to it throughout this workshop. They're more or less the same thing, at least in the context of this workshop. I'll be using them as alternative to each other. Before I start the presentation, I would like to mention a few things as part of the housekeeping stuff. Questions are welcome at any stage of the presentation. You may ask questions as and when they occur to you. However, preferably, I would like them to be spared to the end of the session when we would be having a Q&A session. It would be much better if you can just spare them until then. And yeah, just one more thing, which is sort of a confession. I would like to, I don't want to disappoint you, but to start with, I'm not an expert in any of these fields, neither in technology nor in writing. However, I'm sure with your participation with an expert group of people like yourself, we'll make this session interesting and informative as much as we can. Right. So an overview of today's workshop. Um, within an hour or slightly more, we will be dealing with 3 to 4 major things in this workshop. The first thing we will be dealing with, which will set a scene for the rest of the workshop, is to discuss the writing process. So we will see how writing is perceived, how it is different from other language skills. And that scene will set us, that context will set us a scene for the tools to jump in and help us in making writing happen. And we will finish by looking at some of the problems faced by the writers, and we'll see how technological tools can help solve those problems. So this is what we will be doing as we move on. Okay. So to start with, I'm just leaving these two questions on the screen for you. So you can respond to the questions either by going to the chat room, or otherwise you can use a microphone and take part in discussion. The first question is, why don't we discuss assistive tools for any other language skills? Why particularly about writing? And this is a usual term that assistive tools for writing is generally for this language skill. We don't say assistive tools for speaking or any other language skill. So what may be the reason for that? And a related question you can see on the screen is, what makes writing different from other language skills? So for the next sort of 5 minutes or so, we'll be discussing this concept there. So please think about it and respond to it as you perceive it. Yes. So the questions are assistive tools only for writing skill, not for any other language skills. That's a usual association there. And what makes writing different from any other language skills? Okay. Mm-hmm. So writing is the main skill because it is formal. You have very valid points there. And writing is a productive skill, hence it is documented, not speaking, while listening and reading are input processes. Okay, very valid points. Okay, right, because writing, we have to deliver information with no voice and sound. It makes it difficult. Uh-huh, right. So it's difficult. Yeah, that's a very nice putting there. Yeah. No body language. Exactly. Body language with writing is, yeah, without body language is difficult. True. So, I mean, a related thing can be: can we think of assistive tools for speaking or for, let's say, listening in the same footing as we say it in the context of writing? It also needs special requirement like punctuation and style. Correct. Yeah. True. Awad. Because it's the skill each generation leaves their knowledge. Yeah, this is such an important thing here for the next generation. You can't do um, that with any other skill. Therefore, we have high expectations of it. It is such an important point here. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but exactly, I agree with you there, Faris. It has, yeah, all the skills have their own tools. Okay, I mean, right. So there is Arshad saying for speaking, maybe recording tools, speech to text tools. Uh, uh-huh. Okay, that's right. Yeah. Right. So more or less, I've got all those important points in there. So based on those responses and comments, we sort of understand the background of writing being a distinct language skill, from the other language skills, and those reasons you have rightly mentioned there, they're all valid points, and we will see now on the basis of that and some more input in there, we'll see that writing, we'll try to define writing as a skill in terms of what you can see on the screen. So as you see, writing is a form of communication. So like speaking or body language or any other form of communication, it is more or less the same. That is an essential part of learning and living. So that is this is the base of it. Such an important thing. And also, you see there, the second point is writing is a method by which students and writers show what they know. So the emphasis being on the word know there, and this is what one of you mentioned there. It's a means to record your the knowledge or the body of knowledge from one generation to the other. So this is an important word there, the word know there. And also, as you see, there are two things I have mentioned: mechanical skills and executive skills. There are some mechanical skills in writing and others, what we call the executive skills. By mechanical skills here, I mean definitely the spellings, punctuations, and capitalization, handwriting, or let's say typed work or whatever. All of them would be mechanical things. So these are some, these are the skills we actually learn, and we can assume we can imagine someone being a master of the mechanics of writing, but at the same time being not a good writer. So it's possible. This is the mechanical part of language, and it can be learned. And the next point is, as you see, it has some executive skills involved in it. So that can involve skills like planning, organizing, editing, and revising and stuff like that. And the last thing that you can see there is the expressive needs, and this is also related to the knowledge part there. It caters to the individual's expressive needs, such as recording, informing, persuading, entertaining, your feelings and creative skills and all that. So this is actually what we actually mean by writing in there. Now, the mechanics of writing, as you see on the screen, that all the mechanics. We have a list of these skills which can be mastered by anyone. But at the same time, these are the source of confusion to many writers. Spellings, punctuation, italics, names, how they're written in different languages, and the conventions of writing names in different languages, numbers, the titles of works in research papers, quotations, capitalizations, and probably the citation styles and all that. So all of them are important mechanical skills to learn when it comes to learning a language, to learning to write a language. So some, there are different tools that can help us in overcoming these mechanical skills. Some of the tools are very well-known tools. We always use our, let's say, Microsoft Word or Google Document, and if we have thesauruses, dictionaries, and spell checks on in programs like Microsoft Word or Google Documents, they can be helpful in there. But we will go into the details of the tools later. We will just discover these things first in here. Okay. As for the executive skills for writing are concerned, there are these 3 or 4 points important to note there. The first one is planning. And this is what executives do. I mean, any official, any executive, he involves in decision making, planning, executing decisions, and all that. So that's why I refer to them as executive skills of writing. So the first thing is planning, and this is more or less happens in writing as well, and organizing what your thought, what you have thought of, and whatever, and reviewing all those decisions, all those thoughts that you have put into place to be written, and finally revising it. This is what all the executives do. So this is something similar to what we do in writing. In more familiar terminologies, in writing, we usually have these 4 steps, what we call the process writing. So we have the pre-writing, we have drafting, we have revising the draft, and finally editing it and publishing it and whatever. And pre-writing is, I just want to go through it, although it's not such a new thing to you, but I assume there might be students and all that in this group. So I'll just go through all of those things in very briefly. So pre-writing is anything we do before writing a draft. And it includes thinking, taking notes, talking to others, brainstorming, outlining, and gathering information, which can include interviewing people, researching in a library, assessing data, or getting data from searching online and stuff. A very important point about pre-writing here is, although pre-writing is the first activity we involve in once we write, but it is one thing that we keep coming back to throughout the process of writing. So once you let's say you go to revising it, still you are doing some pre-writing stuff in there. Okay. Um, the next thing is drafting. A few important things about drafting here. Drafting happens when you put your ideas into sentences and paragraphs. Here you can concentrate upon explaining and supporting your ideas fully. It is in drafting where we also begin to connect our ideas. Regardless of how much thinking and planning we do, the process of putting our thoughts and ideas in words changes the idea slightly. So that's why it's important that that change is actually revisited again and again to fine tune it. And another important thing about drafting is it's essential to avoid, yeah, it's a very important point. What normally we do is once we start writing something, those underlined red lines under the words in Microsoft Word or Google Doc, we just keep going back to them and correcting them. And this is an activity which usually, triggers writer's block, and it's something that shouldn't be done. Rather, these things should be spared to the last stage of writing, which is editing. And another important point about drafting is actually a writer specific, a writer centered activity. Here you write the things yourself for yourself. So, and it is to tell yourself that, look, this is what I know about the topic. So far, it is the first attempt that you have made to write a piece of writing. So far, I mean, yeah, so that's an important point here. The drafting of writing in the process writing is writer centric. And the next stage is revising the draft, where we revise the key. This is an effective stage of writing. Here, you think more and deeply about your readers' needs and expectations. So here is where you just move on to make it more reader centric, the audience centric. This document here at this stage becomes reader centered. How much support will you need to convince your readers? You have to decide here. Which terms should be defined for particular readers? You have to know them. Maybe this is a difficult thing for them, so you have to explain it. Is your organization effective? Decide it here. Do your readers need to know X before they can understand Y? So this is all decided at this stage here. And at this stage, you also refine your prose and making your sentences more concise, accurate as possible. So it's more of language work also that happens at this stage. And the final thing is editing. Here is where you check the grammar, spelling, and any other mechanical issues related to your writing. A very important point to remember here is you shouldn't involve in correcting spellings or grammar or any other things before you actually get to this position, get to this stage, and that's a very important thing. Now, with this background in mind, we will see where technology comes in here in writing a draft. So most of our tools that we will talk about in a short while, they will focus this aspect of writing. So these tools include they can help us in process writing. Include they are the word processors, graphic designers, editors, and some cloud-based tools and all that. So now we are moving to the next thing. Um, Before I move on, I would just like to ask you a few questions about the different stages of this process writing. Can you name a few tools that you usually use for pre-writing, drafting, revising, and editing? Yeah, so the chat room is again with you. So please put your responses to the question there in the chat room. Yeah, I've just got one from Awad there. Grammarly. Yep, that's a good one. Yeah, and probably there's another one. Word, Microsoft Word. You mean probably? Yeah. Any other tools that you usually use? Grammarly for editing. Yes. So far we have two tools, um, Grammarly and Microsoft Word. Okay, there's what says there is probably Ludwig or something. All right, I've never heard of that. Okay, yeah, Padlet for generating ideas. Very nice one. Yeah, Cambridge proofreading and editing. Okay, I see for paraphrasing. Okay. Write the main idea maybe for pre-writing. Okay. Online dictionaries and thesauruses. Yes, Joseph, that's true. Online dictionaries. All right. So I'm just moving on. Um, there are many of these tools available. Some of them are for free, and some you have to. Yeah, phrase up is the last one mentioned there. Okay, so let's move on. So when we talk about tools, we usually assume they are probably um, one type of it, but there are a variety of tools available for writing, which help us in writing in a variety of ways. So I divide the tools into three categories. There are hardwares available in the market that can be used to assist us in writing. And the other group of tools include the softwares. And the last one is applications, the apps that we usually have in tablets and mobile phones. Um, okay, so let's look into them one by one. So the first one is, as you can see, this is the hardware tools. There are many tools available. Um, the purpose of the hardware tools are they are there to replace the pen and paper, the concept of writing actually. There are a variety of them available there. Some of them, I mean, they are evolving. Definitely, we will see some very advanced one very soon. But the ones available right now, probably none of them is a good alternative to pen and paper writing, because writing is something that should happen seamlessly, without effort and without too much focus on technology itself. So when the use of technology becomes a barrier between your ideas and writing, then writing will definitely go. I mean, it will just go waste. So there are a variety of tools available. Some of these tools are just plug and play. You can just connect them to your computer and start writing. They're just in the shape of computer accessories, and many of them are there. And they come with some built-in programs, word processor programs, and some of them can be used in connection with the existing tools like Microsoft Word and Google Docs and all that. So they can be used in there. Some tools, like there are independent pens available which come with specific programs. You can use them to write, and there are specific tablets available which can be used for annotation and writing purposes only. Some of them are really light and they have the feeling of a pen and paper, but most of them are, I mean, like, I have one which is sort of basically designed for reading, but it has the tool to write also. But the writing thing makes you feel you are not using a pen and paper. It's something you have to make extra effort into that. So I mean, that will definitely take away the creativity or the ideas that you can think of. So it's not really that seamless. So in my understanding, very soon we will see some more advanced gadgets, or maybe I haven't heard of. There might be some which can be used to help us write well. And one good thing about these programs is, you don't have to carry the pens and papers with you once you go away from somewhere. So they can be used anytime and to write. But that's a good point about it. But yeah, so that's it. The next more important thing is the software. And this is the most important part of our presentation for today. These are as you see that, the softwares which we will be using and exploring, and we will see which part of writing these tools can be helpful. Um, right. So here, the first tool, as you can see there, is Bubblus. And the second one is Kogel.it, Scrivener, and Reverse Dictionary, Grammarly, and Language Tool, Google Docs, Microsoft Word. I just want to start, with a question to you or to all of you. How many of them you have been using? I mean, is there anything that you hear for the first time on that screen? Some, yeah, any of those tools that seems new? Okay, they are new, you mean? All right, right. So at least, yeah. Otherwise, you just mentioned the ones you have been using. Definitely, everyone uses Google Docs and Microsoft Word. I see. Okay, I see. 1, 2, 3, 6, and 7. I see. Right. It's very popular. Yeah. It doesn't let you go like that. Whenever you just go to YouTube, it is always there. Yeah. The advertisements. Okay. Right. Yes, so I would just divide these applications into some of them are for pre-writing, and I have purposely included two tools for each purpose. And the reason for that is that some of them are paid and some of them are available for personal use free of cost. I've heard about that, but I haven't used it. Ginger, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've heard about Ginger, but I haven't ever used it ever, right? So maybe next time I'll try that. Um, yeah. So I mean, I'll just take you to the laptop tabs from this point onwards. But after I'll just go through them quickly. But the last thing we will be talking about are, let's say, Scrivener, because Scrivener is not an online tool. We have to download it and install it to the PC. So I'll have to share the screen with you later. So I just want to explain to you here the conceptualization, sort of the theory of it. Right. So let's move on. Hi. Um, so the first tool, as you see there, is the first tool that we use there is bubble.it. us. This is actually a mind mapping tool which can create tree diagrams for us, and it can be used for brainstorming, and it's an online tool, and it's easy to use. But one thing about it is it's paid. There are but it's cheaper for educational institutions and school students and teachers. They probably they give us 50% discount on that. So for a year, they probably charge about $30 or something. But it's a very useful application. We'll just go to their website and see the details and there for further features and all that. Koggle is the next one. It is again is a free mind mapping tool. It is something similar to Bubblus, but it has a more useful. Um, it gives you a free version for personal use. And Koggle produces hierarchical structured documents like the tree diagrams. And also, one thing good about Koggle is it gives you an option for a real-time collaboration with your colleagues, with other students, and sharing with organizations, individuals, or the private links are possible in here. And you can view and copy the previous versions of the program or the software, and images, links, and multiple root items are all possible there. And you can join the branches anytime by clicking on the plus icon and all that, and you can comment about the brainstorming ideas that you have actually thought of. So it's a very important and useful tool for the pre-writing stage where you think about generating ideas and all that. The next thing is Scrivener. Scrivener is a very professional. They say it is an award-winning word processing program, and outliner and writing organizer designed for writers. Um, I see. Okay. So Scrivener provides a management system for documents, notes, and this allows the users to organize notes, concepts, research, and whole documents for easy access and reference. Scrivener offers templates. That's a very important part, and I like especially this part of Scrivener. It gives you templates for a variety of written genres, ranging from a short essay to a whole novel. You can get a template of the whole book for free if you are a paid subscriber to this tool. The users can export their documents after writing it to a final formatting to a standard word processor, a screenwriting software, and desktop publishing softwares. So that's all possible. And the next tool is very interesting one, the reverse dictionary. uh, what normally dictionaries do is, while the dictionaries suit to the needs of readers in finding the meaning of words. So we find the meanings of words in normally this is what we do in dictionaries. It falls short in addressing the needs of language producers. Sometimes we want to say something. We can't go to dictionary to find a word, how to say that word. So what the reverse dictionary does is you just go to that dictionary with the idea and find the word about it. So in other words, it reverses the concept of word to definition into definition to word. So you just go to the dictionary and give the meaning to the dictionary. It will give you the related words. So it will give you a huge collection of synonyms, which you can just go into using any thesaurus or any dictionary to get to the right word that you want to use for any purpose. So it's a very important tool and very useful tool. Okay. Grammarly is not new to anyone. I mean, they just impose themselves on everyone who has any relationship with, let's say, YouTube videos and all that. Um, Okay, so Grammarly, it helps us in editing. Many of the mechanical aspect of language um, is always there in Grammarly. And language tool and Grammarly, more or less, they are the same. They do the same thing. I've used both, but I prefer Grammarly for a variety of reasons. They actually they have more features. Like sometimes they guide you on the length of the sentences that you write, the length of the paragraphs. And even sometimes what we do is we write a sentence and the word there is rightly spelled and there is no problem in there. So some dictionaries, some of these tools will ignore it, but Grammarly usually says this word doesn't make a sense in this sentence. So it's a good one. I prefer using Grammarly to any of the tools there, but definitely, I mean, the ones I have used. Um, oh yeah, exactly. That's right. So it has a free version. That's right. It comes with those ads. The premium version is good. It's reasonable. Um, Google Docs and Microsoft Words. I mean, I shouldn't be talking about that. I mean, you have been using it for ages now, I hope. So these are very useful tools. Okay, so with this, I'm taking you to the individual websites. Um, okay, so we'll come to these things later. So the first thing is Bubblus. I mean, the scribbles you can see on that website, they are, I mean, that's what I just wanted to play with the thing to familiarize myself with it. Um, um, okay, so I hope you can see all those things, right? My screen is visible to you right now. So can you see my screen, guys? So the Bubblus website. Yes, perfectly. Thank you, Arshad. So
Yes.
thank you, thank you. Bubblus is actually, if you just go to the main, to the left side, this panel here, and if you make an account there, it actually gives you an option to create your own projects in there, and you can you can create maps. So this is the first screen. You just go into new mind map, and that's where you start. You put the main idea here. For example, if you're writing, let's say an essay, an argumentative essay, or let's say a pro and cons essay. So for example, should we use technology to overcome the traffic problem in the city. So that is one thing that you want to talk about. So now you see that two plus icons, appear there. So you can just click on this one to write another, next point about it, or alternatively, you can just click on this thing to make it kind of for example, there are two options. You may say yes, there is a yes answer, and also you can also say it can have let's say no answer. Sorry. So a yes answer, and if you just click on tab, it will give you the second thing. For example, a no answer there. And the people who have been teaching the ELI students, I mean, they may know this is one of the essay we asked them to write. And for the yes thing, we can just think about some arguments, some reasons. What reasons can we think about the yes one, and what are the things we can think about some more reasons for no. So for the reasons, and then for each reason, we can just go into, let's say, some explanation details of the reason. And so let's say some examples about it, right? So it's a very nice presentation of how to actually start the topic. So very nice way to brainstorm. It can be done with your partner. It can be done in teams, as you can see to the rightmost on the top there. So it can be done with a group of people, or you can do this alone. So it's a very good website that helps us in doing all the thing. So my question to you is, do you think this is somewhat useful, and which part of writing it can help us as a writer, and experienced writer, or let's say not so experienced writer like myself? So what do you think about this website? Can it be useful for any of the reasons we want to learn in writing? Exactly. Right. So the
Yeah,
pre-writing,
exactly. To prepare,
yes,
yeah.
sir. Exactly. Yeah, that's right. And especially if I mean for teachers, this is an exceptional tool as a presentation, and you can just present it to people. You can just prepare your presentation here even, and just do it. Exactly. Illustrative diagrams in our writing. That's 100% true. Yep. Right. So this is one of the tools I would encourage everyone to use for planning their writing. Okay. And the next tool I'm going to introduce here is the Coggle It application. Um, Coglit is again more or less the same, but the good thing about Coglit is it gives you free of cost, service, at least if you want to use it individually. So I just, this is again, I've been scribbling on it. So you can again create your own diagram by clicking on, let's say, on that link. So going back to the main website. So that's where we are, create a diagram, and it helps you in creating a tree diagram about the ideas, let's say the advantages um, and disadvantages of, let's say, um, using um, digital, sorry, digital tools in writing, for example. So that's what you want to write about. Again, you can just click on the plus icon and write what you want to write there. And if you just go there and write the word and click there, so it will take you to the next. And again, it really helps you create a diagram of the thought process that you have in your mind before actually putting them into the drafting stage. So this is for free. Anyone can use it without paying anything, but definitely it has a paid version too, which is somewhat more features and all that. And also the screen gives you a lot of these shortcuts here. So it's faster and useful to the teachers for teaching, and at the same time for writers to brainstorm the ideas there. That is the second important tool I just wanted to tell you. But remember, all of these topics are full, topics to take a whole hour of presentation. So because we cannot do it that way here, I have to just give you the ideas, and if you can go back and discover them on your own, that would be considered the success of this session. It's not going to be like on one tool I'd be presenting, and there are many other sessions which have been conducted in the series of workshops there, in which one tool was presented with full details and all that. That was very useful, definitely. But for this particular workshop, I'm just going into some more tools, and later you will definitely have opportunity to go and exploit the uses of those tools for yourself. Right. Okay. So the next tool that I'm going to use here is, okay, so yeah, right. So reverse dictionary. Reverse dictionary is the website of that dictionary, as you can see on the screen, is reversedictionary.org. Remember, when I was just looking for details about this dictionary, I came across a few things which were very different from the concept of Exactly. Okay, Arshad. So it can be used for qualitative research where data from interviews or focus group is thematically placed. Yeah, definitely. If you just go into that and explore it further, you will get all those ideas, and they're very useful. 100% true. Yeah. So going back to the reverse dictionary, so the reverse dictionary actually, as you see there, you just go to the dictionary with, let's say, with a definition and find the word that you can use for that purpose. And when I Googled it, when I tried to search and explore the concept of reverse dictionary, there were many types of reverse dictionaries. There were some dictionaries like where the word was written from right to left rather than left to right. For example, black would start with the K first, K C A LB, right? So the reverse spelling of the word, I don't know for whatever purposes, what it is used for, even I'm not familiar with that. But this particular one, remember the link, the website, reversedictionary.org, this particular one is used to find a word for the concept, for the meaning. For example, let's say, what do we call a person who, someone, let's say someone who mends shoes. Okay, let's see what words it gives us. Now look, you see that. So there were so many of them, but the one which is highlighted in blue color, that is the word we need, right? So it's a very useful one, especially when you are writing and you think, you have written too many words for something, and you want to actually be a bit economical in the use of words. So this is a very nice tool to use for writers, and to be very specific when you're writing something. So there are many alternative to the same. For example, shoemaker, the other one. So you can even the other use of this thing is for more curious language learners, you can just go into the individual words here using another dictionary and see how these words are related, what is the link between them. So these are either the synonyms of this word, or there is some remote link between them and this thing. So it's a very useful tool. Okay, so I just stop here and I just want to ask you about this particular dictionary. Do you think, as a writer, it can be of some help, and in what context? Or in other words, would you like to use it, or is it something that you think it's worth using? Mm-hmm. Okay, right, right. Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, exactly. Yes. So, right. So, I mean, you can use it. The next tool that I'm going to introduce is Grammarly. I mean, it's a very good tool. It's useful. It can help us in, sometimes once you write it, there are so many of those red lines and green lines under the words. The red line is usually some sort of mechanical thing, and green is, yeah, both of them are mechanical. Um, Oh, yeah, that's another thing it coming up there. We will talk about that later. We're coming to that point. So Grammarly is an editing tool. It helps us in being as exact and as in the choice of words, the mechanics of the language, grammar, vocabulary, not vocabulary. I would say, and to some extent, Grammarly helps us in the choice of vocabulary as well, and spelling and punctuation and all that. So that's a very useful tool, and I would recommend if anyone is writing. I mean, at times, what happens is we can't find someone to to proofread a document. And this is a tool when, it can be very useful to do that job. And a similar tool to Grammarly is, as you can see here, is Language Tool. I have used it. I use the premium version, but I returned that thing. I used it for a week, and I was very disappointed with this tool. But it does more or less similar to Grammarly. It's slightly cheaper too, but it's not as good as Grammarly. It's a German-based company, probably, and they are doing in many of the languages as well. So, I mean, if you just look into the interface of this website, they claim to be doing a lot of things, but I'm not dissuading anyone from buying it. But I mean, I would prefer to go for Grammarly, which is a very useful tool. Okay. Um, right. So, okay. So with that done, I'll just put I'll just share another screen with you. And this time it is going to be, yeah, so let me open the thing because it's installed to my computer, Scrivener. Scrivener is the next important tool. Yes, so let's go to Scrivener. I hope I have it ready here. Yes, that's the one. Yes. Now, again, Scrivener is paid, but it is worth paying if anyone wants to use it. It's the star application. It's a star program, I should say. It's a very useful one. It's a very good one. So anyone who wants to, I mean, to make the writing easy for himself or herself, can use it, and it's a very useful one. So it gives you the trial version for up to 30 days. You can just try it, and if it's useful, you may go for the premium version. So what we do in here is, for example, you just go to the File tab and open a new project. So if you go to the new project, it gives you a variety of options here, what you want to do, what you want to write in here. I mean, do you want a blank document? And if you're an experienced writer, that would be worth doing. You can just do in there. And do you want to write a novel or a short story or something, fiction material? Or you want to do something nonfiction? It can be script writing. It can be miscellaneous, a variety of things in there. So mostly, I would just go into the nonfiction thing. If you just click on nonfiction, you will see that it gives us three options up there. The first one is nonfiction with subheads, research proposal, and undergraduate humanities essay. Let's go into the undergraduate humanities essay. Once you click on that, it asks you to give this document a name. Let's say it's going to be, let's say it's a problem solution essay, for example. So just give it that name and create the document. Right. So there we are. So, I mean, I just want to be sure you can see the right screen, because once the new screen pops up, you may not be able to see it. Can you see a screen on the top of which is written undergraduate essay format? So, I mean, what you can see in the screen right now? Does it say undergraduate essay format? No. Okay. So maybe I'll have to share this screen with you. I think, right. Is it the same now? Does it say undergraduate essay format now? Even not now. Oh, really? I see. Let me check. Is it okay now? I hope so. Yeah. Okay. So fine. We are in now. So what it does is one of the good thing about a Scrivener is it discusses the whole format, the structure of the thing. You know what you need to do for that sort of. Yeah, that's right. So what I mean, this is actually from Scrivener. It helps you write the thing. It gives you all the details about it, what you should do, what are the conventions of an undergraduate essay format. So it gives you all the details about it. So if you just go through it and follow all the things it mentions here, it's going to be a very useful thing. So we are there. Now let's say this is going to be an essay, and you want to say that this essay. Yes, that's right. Now, the title of the essay is whatever you want to write about. You can just put the title there. And then the body of the essay, let's say we want to, we want to include, let's say it's going to be a 4 paragraph um, essay in which the first thing is, let's say there is the introduction, um, introduction paragraph. And then we want to include another paragraph there, which is going to be, let's say, solutions. So let's say solution one paragraph. And then there's going to be, let's say, another paragraph that is solution two. But it already says body. So what I'm doing there is I will just rename it as conclusion. Um, conclusion. So you see, it has now 4 paragraphs there. Now, one of the good thing about a Scrivener is it allows you to manipulate the structure of the essay anytime. For example, you see that conclusion comes to the beginning, so you can take it to the end of it anytime there. The introduction, solution one, solution two, and conclusion. And just to make some type of, let's say you want to brainstorm or you have some brainstorm ideas which you want to put in here. Let's say the introduction can be for example, how can we solve the traffic problem? So you just want to say traffic is a problem in all major cities. So that's one thing you said about it. So and then also you want to say many countries deal with traffic differently. For example, you just said it here. And the solutions you want to suggest is, let's say, the first solution is, let's say, introduce flying cars, flying cars. Okay. And then you want to talk about the advantages and disadvantages of that. And then solution two is, let's say, build new roads and bridges. Okay. And conclusion is, let's say, whatever you want to write here, X, Y, Z, whatever you want to write here. So now you have actually designed actually the general outline of your essay. And if you just go into the body of it, you see that it creates a format for you where you can type, but just to help you what you had actually thought of, what was the initial plan before you actually, you came to this, and you click on this, and you have all those bullet points, the introduction, the main ideas to the left of it. It can be in the bottom, it can be anywhere. So now you start writing the first thing, introduction. Don't miss any of the points you have already decided to include in your paragraph. And once you're done, your paragraph is done, and you can take it out and paste it in Microsoft Word. And if you want to use, let's say, Grammarly or something to fine tune some of the grammatical or mechanical errors and all that, and that would be the last thing to include in there. Okay, it does. Yes, exactly. Um, it is. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, what? Yeah, it's a very good one. It's a very useful one, and it can be used for all types of writing. It allows you to write, let's say, even if you're writing a book or an essay or uh, sort of creative writing, it has the templates available to you if you're a premium subscriber. But at least give it a try. The 30 days of free version can be used, and that's what I'm using right now. Um, so it's a very useful tool. Okay. With this, so I mean, which of these tools you think is worth trying? I just introduced to you. There was Bubblus and Grammarly. We talked about Scrivener and all of them. So which one do you think is the best one to give it a try? Grammarly is always good. Yeah, that's right. So, okay, I'll take you back to the main screen, and we'll be talking about reverse dictionary is useful. That's right, 100%. Um, exactly, for different stages of writing and for different purposes. That's 100% true, yeah. So let me take you to the main presentation, and we'll be talking about a few important points which are actually part of the presentation. Right. Some of the problems faced by writers. Okay, so I'm just leaving it to you. What are some of the problems that writers face or complain of? Can you think of or the problems that you know of that yourself or the writers usually um, complain of? Short of ideas. Yes, correct. The structure of the paper. Yes, 100% true. Um, Probably paraphrasing um, is that a problem? Okay, collect the needed information and rearrange them to a suitable essay. Yeah, that's right. Organization of the okay of writing, connecting ideas. That's so true. Yeah, like organization is coming up again and again. Yep. Insufficient language at times. Yeah, that's true. The outline. Yep. Grammar issues. That's right. Writers with different level of experience have different problems in there. Lack of stable vocabulary while writing. Yes, but generally they're all problems. Language issues and all that. They are actually they mean that it needs to be improved and all that. But some of the things which are more common to even experienced writers and all that. Um, okay, are the things here. For example, um, most of the time when the more experienced writers, when they want to write, they usually get distracted by the internet because they work on computers, and most of the time what happens is the notifications and the pings and all that, they distract them. It's one of the problems faced by almost everyone. The less experienced are more distracted, the more experienced are also distracted in there. So this is one of the problems faced by writers. And the other thing about writers is they forget the brilliant ideas that come to them. On the go, you are driving and suddenly you think of the solution to a problem, and what happens is there is nothing to take a note of, and that is where you feel there should. You definitely forget those brilliant ideas later. And the next thing is writing is such a different thing. And as we said in the beginning as well, it's a different skill. In my personal opinion, a real skill, writing is a real skill. The rest of them, I don't know what they are. There are some different types of faculties, but writing is one thing which needs to be learned really. And and there are so many conventions, there are so many mechanics that we need to learn about it. And these mechanics and these conventions definitely make it difficult for writers. Um, okay. Um, so a few tools that you can see on the screen there. I mean, I have divided them into two groups of tools. One is the referencing tools, and the other one is the cloud solution tools. The referencing tools are, I mean, these are for more experienced people who publish research papers, and they write books and stuff like that. So for them, these three tools are very useful: Mendeley, Zotero, and RefWorks. And all of these reference tools have something common in them. There is no difference between them. They're all more or less the same, and they are useful. All of them can support a variety of range of citation styles. All of them are actually they help you in citation, in bibliography, in adding annotations, note taking. They also help you in extraction of citation data. So all of them, more or less, I mean, they're cloud based, so they can store even your research papers and your books in their portal. So they're very useful tools. And as for the cloud based tools are concerned, it has happened to me many times. I wrote something and suddenly, either I just forgot to save it, or the computer crashed, or something happened. I went back to it. I tried to retrieve it, so all the material was gone. So in that context, a few of these tools can be very useful. I mean, they're not new, but an additional use of all these things, in addition to keeping things there, is all of them have an embedded version of the word processors. I mean, Microsoft Word works with all of them. Google Drive, for example, works with its own version of the same, which is more or less the same as Microsoft Word. And Dropbox supports the use of Microsoft Word, where you can just type and forget about it. It's there in the cloud. So wherever you go, you can just access it by logging into your account in Dropbox. So it's a very useful tool. Okay, the last tool that I'm just going to mention is a bonus tool. Um, it is a very useful one for the people who usually complain of distraction by the internet and some websites and all that. So this tool is called the cold turkey. One of the good things about cold turkey is you can block some 100%. Yeah, there. EndNote is one of them. Yeah, 100%. I agree with you there. Yeah. So cold turkey actually blocks access to some websites, even if you want it. For example, unintentionally, sometimes what happens is when we start writing, we feel, all right, let me check what happens on Twitter and Facebook and all that, right? So we just unintentionally go into those websites, or some news networks, or social media, whatever. So cold turkey actually blocks all those tools. So it actually, if you download this thing and install to your computer, it is, again, it's a paid tool. I think it's not really very expensive, but I mean, the importance of it, I would say it's a very useful tool. So it helps avoid distraction, and it blocks your involuntary access to some websites. It blocks applications even in your phone. And one important thing about it is you can schedule blocking websites and application. For example, from 7 o'clock in the morning until 2 o'clock, please block all the social media applications for me. So it will do that for you. I'm just taking you to the application. It's open here on my computer. So we will see how this tool works. Let me actually share the right. So here we are. Um, right. So cold turkey. That's the one. So is that visible to you right now? Cold turkey blocker. So is this application visible to you right now? Can you see cold turkey blocker? Yeah, thank you. So if you just go to the main thing there and just click on blocks, it gives you an option to add a website which you want to block. Let's say, just for the sake of it, I'm just going into, let's say, the website. I just want to block whatever, YouTube, let's say. So if you just write www.youtube.com and save it and just close it, and later, just for the sake of it, if you try to access the website, it will say, no, you can't access it at this time. It's not, I mean, it's blocked for you. So it's a very useful tool, especially for more serious writers who have an issue with concentration. And it's a very useful one. So you can use it there. So actually, that is the end of our session today. Um, Okay, so practically that's the end. I would just let you ask any questions, and but remember, I shouldn't be the only one answering questions. Anyone can come forward and answer those questions. As I said in the beginning, I'm not a big expert on in that field, so anyone can help out the things. Let's see, share your experiences, any comments, any questions. Feel free to ask, please.
All right, thank you, Mr. Ahmed, for this wonderful workshop. I really enjoyed it and learned a lot. I really like the Cold Turkey app here and the other apps like Google and these apps uh, help us in developing our writing skills. Thank you again. So now it's time for the questions, and thank you all for attending the workshop. So now it's time for questions, comments, and I'm gonna share with you the links. Please complete the evaluation form, and inshallah this workshop uh, will be uploaded to our YouTube channel, inshallah, within 24 hours. And the last link here is our booking system. So whenever you have any issue with your writing and you need someone to look at it, just please make an appointment, and our specialist, writing specialist, will be happy to assist you. And here we have a question from Amal. Your advice to improve our academic writing?
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, one thing is, um, I mean, look, a good answer to that question can be, I mean, you write what you know, and you write in the way you read. So I would say first start reading the academics. If you are a good reader, definitely you will learn the styles of the academics, the way they write. So this is one of the keys that I have found very useful for myself. So I would suggest please read standard academics and try to follow the conventions that they set, and the way they put things. So this is one of the things. And apart from that, be as curious as you can be, and that will be very useful to you, as a writer. If you practice more, definitely that will be very useful.
Okay, here, question. Could you please go back to tool slide?
Right, sure. Um, I think is that website visible to you right now?
Yes, thanks,
Okay,
Q&As.
right. So let me. That's
Yes,
the one.
yeah, I think this one, yeah. Okay, let's see if we have Any more questions? Okay, so I think next week will be next week is midterm exam, so we'll see you inshallah after 2 weeks. So any other questions?
Yeah, so if there are any, I would be more than happy to answer. Please.
Arshad?
Yeah, so the workshop schedule.
Yeah, just go to our website and you will see the workshop schedule of our workshop. So I'm gonna share with you now our website, so then you can just go there and we'll see if in all the recordings and so Amir here is asking, how can I know I did great writing, or how can I test myself or my writing?
Okay, that is so it all depends on let's say if you self-evaluate yourself, maybe that can be done against a criteria that you have set. Let's say you have a checklist to follow, so that may be helpful. Otherwise, I would suggest you I mean, get help from your teachers, or let's say anyone who is supervising you. They can be very helpful. So self-evaluation, you can self-evaluate yourself against, let's say, a book of grammar, if your grammar is correct or not. But when it comes to creative writing, I would say it is one thing can be, let's say, you write something and then go back to the conventions. Let's say the way to write that thing. You write a poetry, let's say, and then you just check how poetry is written, and then you check against that standard. Are you following that thing or not? Are the rhyming words are clear or not, or any other standards that you're following or not? So that could be a thing, but mostly I would say it can be done best if you do it with the help of someone who definitely you're following or teaching you, or let's say guiding you, supervising you. You're welcome.
All right, any other questions or comments? Okay, I think since there are no more questions or comments, again, I would like to thank Brother Ahmed for this great workshop. And thank you all for attending the workshop. And we'll see you, inshallah, next time. Stay tuned and stay safe. And please go to our YouTube channel, share, like, and subscribe. And we will upload different short videos, inshallah, in the coming days. And thank you all. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Basim and Dr. Kamal and Mohammed and everyone for your support and giving me this opportunity to present. Thank you very much. And the participants for joining in.